look like it's gone better.
What's going on, guys? It's K-Dub here with another episode of Crypto Zombie. So today is Monday. You're probably wondering, where the heck were you yesterday? Well, I took the day off, guys. I did do a lot of research, though. I was looking at this crazy, bizarre story, which we're going to get into today, and you are definitely going to want to stick around to watch this because this rabbit hole goes way deeper than I had even imagined. You're definitely not going to want to miss today's episode. Yesterday was the Super Bowl. We all know what happened, regardless of who you were rooting for. I think we all know in the end who we were really rooting for. Clearly, it was Bitcoin. Shout out to Crypto Brecky. Now, having a look at the markets today, we do see there's not much going on. Let's dive in and have a look. Yeah, obviously, same thing, low volume, not much to talk about. Let's see what's happening in the markets. We'll give it a quick refresh live. We're sitting around $113.5 billion market cap. Bitcoin dominance roughly the same as it was yesterday, with a $3,425 Bitcoin, 30-cent XRP, and Ethereum at 107. Now, looking at the biggest gainers of the day, we have Freecoin up 2,087%. Maybe it's because it's free. I have no idea. Never heard of that coin. Maker, MadeSafe, Tron, Theta, IOST, Binance, PundiX, Linky, Chainlink, and Golem, all doing quite well today. Now, let's dive in and see what is happening right now. Well, according to the cryptocurrency analyst Murad Mahmoudov, you might be familiar with him. He's on Twitter. So he is basically saying that the engagement of the keyword Bitcoin on Twitter has declined substantially in the past 14 months. This may not be an indicator of anything. Let's indulge. Let's see. So, the drop in the engagement of the platform demonstrates a lack of interest in the sector, even from individuals and businesses that have been in the industry for a long period of time. This screams bearish. Tweets about Bitcoin at the same level as around 2014 and lower than any point in 2016, like nothing has changed. That's an absolute disaster for the price in the medium term, in my opinion. In the short term, as investors in the cryptocurrency sector discover that the bear market may last longer than expected, an increasing number of holders may begin to sell. I wouldn't be surprised if we've already seen a lot of these people sell. I could tell just from my channel when we went from 6K and fell down to 3, the channel changed. Totally different people, totally different comments. Obviously, a lot of people had weak hands and they sold or they exited. That's fine, to each his own. So, only when speculation dries out and the true believers of the asset class remain in the ecosystem will a proper bottom be established. You need a complete price exhaustion and attention exhaustion from anyone except the absolute true believers. More people will sell when they realize that this winter will last for even longer than they thought, or that they can potentially buy back in lower, right? Some people might just be sitting this whole thing out, right? The bear market, which entrepreneurs like Ledger's CEO said could potentially transform into a nuclear winter that could last up to 2 years. Just gonna be real, I don't think it's gonna last that long, but what do I know? I'm just a guy on the internet. Now, in the long run, Mahmoudad says that investors will be rewarded for building and learning in these gloomy periods, as were investors in the dot-com era, right? Hopefully they learn their lesson. However, in the foreseeable future, the analyst said that investors have to acknowledge the overall weakness in Bitcoin, considering it is a high asset risk, right? Or a high risk asset, however you want to word it. Now, add to all this overall weakness in the global macro economy and Bitcoin still being perceived as a risk asset, the bear market will last for much longer. Those that are building, learning, studying, of course, will be handsomely rewarded. And he says in 2023, 2024, man, you guys have it in you to wait that long. Oh, patience will be tested. Patience will be tested. Now, here's something interesting. I want to talk about the bright side, right? You have a former Google product director, Steve Lee. He explained that if you own 0.28 Bitcoin and you hodl, you could be certain no more than 1% of the current world's population can ever own more Bitcoin than you. A modest investment of roughly $1,830 today can ensure you that you are a 1%er in the future. Guys, there's 7.4 billion people in the world, 21 million Bitcoin. Roughly 4 million of them are estimated to be lost forever. You do the math. I think we've gone over this before. Many analysts believe that the halving is already priced in. Some people think it is, okay? Because it's anticipated by investors years ahead before it actually happens. However, we do know if we look at the past, it does tend to find that we sort of bottom out about 1 year leading up to the halving, which is why a lot of people are calling for May of this year pretty much to be the bottom. But time will tell, and history doesn't have to repeat itself. Now, Bitcoin is expected to see its block reward decline by 50% in May of 2020. The block reward halving will limit the circulating supply of Bitcoin if the demand of the asset remains the same or increases. Pretty simple economics, right? So you have economist Kim Grauer, I don't know. He says that it is a very complex question. He says, on the one hand, direct calculations about market cap do not take lost coins into consideration. Considering how highly speculative this field is, those market cap calculations may make it into economic models of the market that impact spending activity. So generally, especially for investors that consider cryptocurrencies as a long-term investment, the block reward halving is considered a positive catalyst that may fuel the recovery or the rally of the market as it has in the previous times. Okay, if the halving begins to have an impact on the price of Bitcoin beginning in May of this year, as some traders expect, the time frame will coincide with the predictions of analysts like Willy Woo, who foresee the cryptocurrency market recovering by the latter half of 2019. Now, before we get on, by the way, guys, just as really quick, I have timestamps below, so if any of this doesn't interest you, you could just skip right to the part of the video that you want, okay? I always do this, but I want to point out, an advisor at McAdam Financial says that a recent experience at Bank of America highlights a key selling point of cryptocurrencies. I don't know how to pronounce this guy's name, but Pat says, Bank of America just charged $10 because I made more than 6 transfers between savings and checking this month. 6 transfers with crypto would cost about 30 cents. That's 3,233% more expensive than it would have been to use crypto. So why do they charge you for that anyway? It's all digital. It's not like crypto where you're actually moving ERC20s or tokens. You're just moving stuff in a centralized database. It's just, anyway, that is something to note. And the other thing that I want to note before we move on to the big story of the day is that data from CoinDance, which tracks volumes on P2P trading platforms, local Bitcoin, showed that in fiat terms, the 7 days ending February 2nd were the busiest on record for Venezuela. So regardless of the speculation out here in the West, we are seeing that this is a necessity for people who their government has just destroyed their monetary system. The country's embattled currency, the sovereign bolivar, VES, suffers from rampant hyperinflation with capital controls and a shortage of foreign currency, leaving residents with only one choice to secure their wealth. That's right, guys. Bitcoin. Almost 17.1 billion sovereign bolivars have changed hands on local Bitcoins last week, clipping the all-time high set the week before by almost 1.2 billion. But in Bitcoin terms, the period was Venezuela's second largest at 1,972 Bitcoins in volume. The surge in cryptocurrency popularity has not gone unnoticed by authorities. In fact, on Monday, the text of a new regulation for the sector from buying and selling looks like they could potentially be enforcing this. So according to the law, those officially flouting the rules will also extend to Venezuela's state-issued cryptocurrency. Petro can face severe penalties of up to $18,000. And let me tell you something, that is a lot of money. I'm pretty sure that's a lot of money in Venezuela. Those who operate or perform any crypto type of activity related to the Constitution issuance, organization, operation, and use of petro or cryptocurrencies, including mining, without proper authorization of the government body and in breach of other formalities required by this constituent decree, they will be sanctioned with a fine equivalent, and we just spoke about that. Among those in line for such sanctions could actually be Juan, what is his name? Guaido, I think his name is Guaido. I don't know. But he's the self-proclaimed interim president of Venezuela, whom commentators suspect has considerable Bitcoin holdings. Authorities move to possibly quarantine his fiat bank account. And as you guys can tell, I'm terrible with names. You guys can tell that after the first couple news articles here. Now, moving on to the crazy story of the day that everyone is just can't even wrap their heads around this, right? Let's start with Jesse Powell. He is the CEO. I don't know why I'm not following Jesse. I thought I was following him. Anyway, so CEO Jesse Powell of Kraken, he came out and said, we have thousands of wallet addresses known to belong to QuadrigaCX and are investigating the bizarre and frankly unbelievable story of the founder's death and lost keys. I'm not normally calling for subpoenas, but if RCMP police are looking into this, contact Kraken FX. By the way, Jesse, I do appreciate everything that you're doing to help out the community, right? Now, let's get a little bit of a background. Let's get everyone up to date on this. Maybe you know what's going on. Maybe you don't. Maybe you don't care. Maybe you think this doesn't affect you. You're probably wrong in that case because I think it might affect all of us, and I want you to stick around and see exactly why that is. So, this is what's been going on with Quadriga, right? Issues with customer withdrawals began roughly around the end of last year. Part of the issue with customer withdrawals was due to the fact that the exchange had several $million in funds frozen by a Canadian bank. Eventually, the crypto exchange was able to recover these funds. However, shortly after, it was reported on January 14th of this year through the crypto website that the owner and CEO of the exchange, Gerald Cotton, that he had passed away. So this is the big thing. Everyone's saying, did he fake his death? What's going on, right? Hold on, we're getting there. Now, the site was currently down for maintenance. Then they had an announcement that came out. Now, currently, if you look at it, this is what the site says. This is it. You go to QuadrigaCX. This is all you're getting. You can't click on anything. You can't do anything. You just get this message. And this message has been sitting there since January 31st, okay? Now, moving on with that, the announcement was made by Jennifer Robertson, whom is allegedly the wife and partner of Gerald Cotton, the guy who passed away, apparently. According to the message that was posted on their website, Gerald Cotton originally passed away on December 9th of 2018. That's interesting. So it was reported on January 14th. We'll get to that, though. We'll get to that, if it's already seeming a little inconsistent. Despite the widespread publicity surrounding QuadrigaCX's fight with the Canadian banking system to reobtain their frozen funds, there remains no independent verification of the death of Gerald Cotton. There's no public obituary or death certificate that's been posted to verify his passing. Now, we're not saying the guy's not dead. We're just saying when you're talking about this amount of funds, roughly $150 million of customers' assets that they're never going to get due to this guy passing away, I think you kind of owe us an obituary, right? Okay, finally, on January 28th, their website went down without explanation. At the time of writing, there's still no definitive reason why the exchange's website went down. Those that have spent enough time in crypto or have done their research will notice that the sudden closure of the website is oddly reminiscent of the events preceding Mt. Gox's eventual implosion. Some will point to this document that's been circulating around that is evidence of Gerald Cotton's passing, right? So sure, there we go. Maybe that's the evidence, right? However, the document is dated January 22nd, which is a month and 13 days beyond the alleged death of Gerald Cotton. For an allegedly urgent matter, the submission in the document is definitely doesn't seem urgent at all, right? So that is the first thing. Now, let's dive in a little farther. Now, operators of other Canadian cryptocurrency exchanges called it highly unusual for a single executive to be the only one with access to the company's funds. That would have made Mr. Cotton, who was well known in the cryptocurrency community and an avid traveler, vulnerable to being kidnapped or extorted, says Michael Gokturk, CEO of Vancouver-based Einstein Exchange. It's the equivalent of walking around with millions of dollars in cash on you at all times. Now, here's the other thing too, pointing this out, I just want to say that this all could have been avoided, right? You see, as said by Cornell professor, another name I can't pronounce, previously claimed that they were using a multi-signature system. Now, if you don't know what that means, when you have a Bitcoin address, do you have a 1? Does your address start with a 1 or does it start with a 3? If it starts with a 1, that's a legacy address, okay? Essentially, it's not upgraded for the abilities of SegWit, of multi-sig, right? So what can you do with a multi-sig wallet? Well, it allows many organizations or individuals to hold private keys to a wallet and access it once keys are combined. Usually you have a 3-5 or a 5-7 system, meaning that you don't need everyone, right? So say you have 3, you only need a few, right? You only need a handful out of it, right? It makes no sense to leave the private keys in the hands of one individual. Now that's just like the first thing right off the bat. That's crazy. Now, it says that Mr. Cotton, the guy that died, was diligent in other areas of his life. He signed a will on November 27th, less than 2 weeks before he died. That's convenient. He appointed Miss Robertson as the executive of his estate and outlined the distribution of his assets, including an airplane, property in British Columbia and Nova Scotia, and 2 pet chihuahuas named Nitro and Gully, along with $100,000 for their care. Those are, expensive dogs. So, users have been complaining over the course of the past year about difficulties withdrawing the money from the exchange. So it's not like this just started, all of a sudden, right? The Globe has spoken to several of these clients, some of whom experience months of delays trying to withdraw tens of thousands of dollars. None of them wish to be identified due to privacy concerns. The largest individual user account balance was valued at $70 million. Quadriga, here's the kicker, continued accepting deposits for weeks even after Mr. Cotton's death, and even after having all these difficulties with being able to withdraw users' funds. Now, that's not even the craziest part. We're just touching the tip of the iceberg here. Per legal documents and the press release, with the supposed death of Cotton, Quadriga's remaining staff have effectively lost assets too. 26,500 Bitcoin, 11,000 Bitcoin Cash, 11,000 Bitcoin SV, 35,000 Bitcoin Gold, 200,000 Litecoin, and 430,000 Ethereum. All this amounts to a nominal fiat value of over 150 US dollars. Yet, a leading crypto researcher, and this is the guy that really dropped the bomb, claims that the exchange never had access to such a pool of funds and is lying through their own teeth. Now, this comes from Crypto Medication. Shout out. I give full credit to this dude for doing the research, okay? He's a researcher and data analyzer responsible for a number of key exposés. He recently took to Zero Nonsense, a crypto-centric publication. He heads to divulge his analysis of the debacle. Are you guys ready for this, all right? Now, these articles, I'm just going to let you know, they are very long, they are very lengthy. I'm not going to cover them today. You have the power to read it on your own and the ability, because I don't have the time today. But I highlighted, and we're going to look at some of the key aspects. Now, what is the number one potential falsehood? Well, he claims that there is a cold wallet for Quadriga's Bitcoin holdings. Well, based on the analysis of dozens of aggregated wallets, addresses, and transaction IDs, which are all verified in this report, I will drop it below. You guys can have a field day looking through tons of different transactions, okay? But based on this analysis and transaction IDs, they're basically saying that no withdrawal transaction has been sourced to a significant pool of Bitcoins, i.e. cluster addresses, that were not positively identified. So, what does this mean? Well, in addition, throughout analysis of QuadrigaCX's main hot wallet cluster, addresses have failed to provide evidence that there has been any movement of Bitcoins to an outside wallet address or cluster address that contains any significant holdings of Bitcoin. You might be saying to yourself, well, that's, who cares? Well, let's talk a little bit more. Again, via thorough inspection of several dozen verified Bitcoin withdrawals and deposits, the estimated aggregated total number of Bitcoins in QuadrigaCX's possession is actually less than 1,000 Bitcoin, with 1,000 being a very generous estimate at this point in time. Chain analysis shows that the vast majority of holdings in the wallets and addresses that QuadrigaCX owns have already been liquidated or moved to another exchange. In fact, people had found that withdrawals were suspended until new money came in. Essentially, people are saying that they were using the money from new deposits to pay people trying to cash out, right? Very reminiscent of like a Ponzi scheme almost in a way, but not really, but similar. Now, let's talk about some of the summaries of the findings. Now, granted, guys, like I said, a lot of reading here, but we're going to just summarize here. It appears that there's no identifiable cold wallet reserves for QuadrigaCX. It also appears that the exchange was using deposits from their customers to pay other customers once they requested their withdrawal, which I just spoke about. It does not appear that Quadriga has lost access to their Bitcoin holdings. It appears the number of Bitcoins in their possession are less than was reported by the wife of deceased Jerry Cotton in the affidavit submitted on January 31st. Also, at least some of the delays in delivering crypto withdrawals to customers were due to the fact that Quadriga simply could not have the funds on hand at time. In some cases, they were forced to wait for enough customer deposits to be made on the exchange before processing the withdrawals. We also just spoke about that. After completing the analysis, it's the author's opinion that QuadrigaCX has not been truthful with regards to their inability to access the funds needed to honor customer withdrawal requests. In fact, it is almost impossible to believe that this is the case in lieu of the empirical evidence provided by blockchain. Now, as you guys can see here, I told you it's a very, very long article. You guys can go through all this. There's lots of documentation here. You guys are just going to love looking at all this. Now, it actually gets a little crazier, okay? It's funny because you go on Reddit and it's so blatantly obvious what's happening. One guy even says, because they were asking, do you think this guy faked his death? Well, we really don't know yet. Right now, it's speculation. I can't say he did or didn't. We need to see a death certificate. We need more information because up until this point, this is extremely fishy. This guy says, did he fake his death? He says, of course he did. This is playing out like a bad movie. The guy's having financial troubles at his company, so he travels to India to work for an orphanage? While suffering from Crohn's disease, he decided to go to India, get married, sets up a will within a month of his death, manages to set up a plan, 100K for his dogs so that they'll be taken care of, doesn't think to make sure the nearly 200 million is taken care of, dies. There's no news in India about a wealthy businessman suddenly dying, no proof of death. He was instantly cremated. I don't know if he was cremated. I'm not sure. Maybe that's what they're saying. And then they're saying this is obviously an exit scam. Too bad it's not 1960 and you can't just disappear by faking your death. The coins are already being moved from the exchange wallets. What? Hold on, time out. The coins are being moved. How is that possible? I thought we didn't have access. Well, this is where the plot thickens, guys. This post identifies that the Litecoin cold wallets that Quadriga uses, funds are being moved out of. This means that the private keys are in fact not lost and were being played. Possibly. So Gerald or someone else with the private keys are literally moving our money as we speak, having a look at the timestamp movements in the wallets. Now, I'm not going to go into all this, but these are the wallets right here. This is just more data. I mean, this is the beauty of, distributed ledger technology, right? Open source. I mean, look at this. Everything is on the blockchain, right? There you guys go. So this brings us to probably the most insane connection of the entire story, and that is crypto capital. Ring a bell? No. Doesn't, does it? In fact, it didn't ring a bell when I heard about them either because I've never heard of this company before. This is why we need to dive in. So who is Crypto Capital? Well, let's have a look at what it is that these guys do. Well, a private fiat platform built to support any crypto blockchain. Deposit funds in fiat in the currency of your choice, et cetera, right, through a variety of our verified exchange platforms. Okay, let's check out some of the verified exchanges. QuadrigaCX. Okay, Coinapult. Sex.io, that's sex with a C, guys, get your mind out of the gutter, and also Exmo. Okay, well, let's have a look at some of these exchanges and what's been happening with them. Well, we don't really have to talk about Quadriga at this point, do we? Let's talk about Sex.io. So they had a lot of issues. They were saying there was no withdrawal options available on the site. They were saying they were working on it. There wasn't a timetable for when they would release these. I'm not sure right now if it's available. I haven't checked recently, but it's interesting how they're having troubles with withdrawal. Maybe they fixed it. I don't know, but they were having issues the other day. Now let's talk about Coinapult, right? Well, their website shut down on December 10th, citing a temporary maintenance issue. It hasn't opened since, and there's been no timetable on return. So that's not looking good. Well, what about Exmo? Well, they still remain pretty relatively under the radar. The exchange's volume is minimal at best, and there's absolutely no community discussion about the exchange. In fact, chatter about the exchange is so low at this point that there are no verified stories about anyone even interacting with it in 2018 or 2019. Okay, now, this brings us to the part that is definitely going to blow your socks off. Okay, Bitfinex, guys. Bitfinex has failed to honor customer withdrawal requests for months, and the litany of verified complaints are now numbering in the hundreds, and those are just the stories that we're hearing about. There are many, perhaps dozens or hundreds more that have been unable to receive a withdrawal from Bitfinex. So it's hard to look at all these facts in conjunction and not come to the conclusion that crypto capital may very well be potentially insolvent. But wait, hold on. I don't see Bitfinex on here. That right? Where is it? Oh, wait a minute. I forgot. They totally removed it, guys. As you can see right here, there's a new set of rumors that says that Bitfinex currently may be having insolvency issues, as you can see right here. Look, this was on the website before January 29th. You can see right here, exchanges Bitfinex. After these articles came out pointing the finger and really bringing up these questions, well, they removed it. And if you guys don't believe me, I have a screenshot myself, and here it is right here. Bitfinex, okay? And I'm sure you can ask around the community and some people will be able to verify this as well. So how does this all tie in? Well, what exactly are we looking at? Well, we have the 4 exchanges we've gone over, right? But that's not even the strangest part. The strangest part might be that Crypto Capital removed Bitfinex from its pages now, right when Crypto Medication published an article claiming that Crypto Capital and by extension Bitfinex is insolvent. So is it a stretch? Possibly. It could be a stretch to say that all 4 of the exchanges are definitely insolvent, although some might be. It's a further stretch to say that those exchange problems mean that crypto capital is insolvent, and from there, it's an even bigger stretch to say that Bitfinex is insolvent. In fact, we know it isn't, because if you go online right now, for example, you can click here, and you can actually see that they do have money in their wallet. So we're not saying this, but we are raising some questions. So then, why did Crypto Capital scrub Bitfinex from their site so abruptly? It probably wasn't routine maintenance, given that the long-defunct coin Napolt is still there, right? Plus, a look at Bitcoin price differences right here, as you can see, across different exchanges suggests that they have something common tying them together, and that there's something going on behind the scenes. About 17 hours ago, at the time of writing, the author pointed out that Bitcoin prices were trending higher on Bitfinex, SexIO, and Eximo. The same trend has only been accentuated since then, and now you can see that there's almost a $100 Bitcoin premium on those 3 exchanges, all of which just happen to be tied together by the same fiat money intermediary. Now you can see right here. And we've looked at Bitfinex before, and that's why I hate using them on TradingView, because there's such a premium, right? Look, you can see Bitcoin 3,400, 3,400, 3,400, 3,000, right? Now we look at what there. Bitfinex 35, Sex 35, Exmo 35. Okay, so what does this mean? Well, this is a sign of fiat money withdrawal difficulty, suggesting bank troubles. Or maybe we're just over speculating, or maybe we're just making things up. Well, basically, guys, when you cash out into US dollars or other fiat currency, that you have to convert it to cryptocurrency first, and Bitcoin is obviously the most popular choice for this. So demand for Bitcoin rises on exchanges whenever fiat money withdrawals get disabled. This pushes Bitcoin prices upward on individual exchanges. That's most likely what's happening here, and it's beyond coincidence that it would be simultaneously happening to 3 exchanges which are connected only by crypto capital. It seems clear that even if it might not be insolvent, Bitfinex is definitely having some issues processing payments right now. This might not bode well for Tether. Okay, this is something to consider, which depends on this money backing. Now, a lot of people have had issues with Tether, concerned about right? Like, is it backed by what they say it's backed by? Now, you could just go over right here to Bitfinex's Reddit. I mean, this is literally just their front page. And right on the front page, you can see I've highlighted, it's right there. Look, Bitfinex withdrawal euro problems. Bitfinex does not credit deposits to Neo. Problems with euro withdrawals. Email system is down. I demand my 16K back from Bitfinex following my legal struggles with them here. Bitfinex withdrawal scam. Funds have not been received for 3 months. Withdrawals not credited since December 20th. I mean, we could keep going on. I just highlighted a few on the top right here, so I'm not making this up, guys. Clearly, people are having some severe issues with Bitfinex, so that is a severe problem, guys, okay? Now, moving on and talking about this. This is the major question. What do you guys think about this now that you have all of this knowledge, now that you see everything that's been connected? I mean, look at the fact that we have clear evidence Bitfinex was there, and then it was taken down immediately after. So what does this mean? Well, number one, it definitely means you guys need to definitely be safe out there. Please, I've told you so many times, get a hardware wallet, guys. You don't have to use my affiliate link if you don't want to. Just get a hardware wallet or find a place that you can store your cryptos with your own private keys, because this is crazy. And if this story implodes on itself and we find out that these guys are insolvent, which turns out that these guys are insolvent, which turns out that Bitfinex is insolvent, which turns out that Tether might be a lie, guys, this could affect a lot of us, not just the people that are on these exchanges, okay? So I really wanted to point that out. I really wanted to bring that to you guys today, and I think that was a really important story. Not much really else to say today, guys. That's pretty much the big story of the day. I had a few other things in here that I was considering talking about, but now considering the severity of what I just spoke about, I think that's pretty much it for today. I don't think any of the other stories really matter as much. The one thing I want to talk about was there was a bug found in the Parity Ethereum node wallet software. Now, apparently, they said that they fixed this, so not really much to report on that. However, if you are someone that's interested, please update your nodes ASAP, okay? Yeah, I'm trying to think of what else we have here. Okay, so Ripple was looking for country manager to launch a new office in Shanghai, China. So their new help will help shape Ripple's chain to expand RippleNet's growing their list of 200 banks and financial institutions. Now, regardless of whether or not you're a Ripple fan, I tend to think that just any positive news for the crypto space in general probably will help the rest of us out. And, things like what's going on with those exchanges is crazy. So, long story short, China's the second in the world in remittances at $67 billion a year. So this could be pretty massive news for them moving forward. Also, we have, this is pretty fun. Consensus lists 16 Ethereum blockchain-based games you can actually make money playing. So it says, according to them, the blockchain community is busy discussing network upgrades, adoption, and scalability. And blockchain-based games are quietly providing early proof that blockchain technology can revolutionize an industry. You guys know I'm a huge fan of blockchain games, non-fungible tokens, right? So here's a few games they got down here. They got Ethereum, Plasma Bears, OX Universe, Hyper Dragons, all these different ones, Gods Unchained. There you go. So if you guys are interested in potential ways you could actually make money by playing virtual games, there you go. And if that's not enough to get you guys pumped, well, Charlie Lee apparently officially was in the Litecoin Telegram, and somebody said, when do you predict Bitcoin will ever hit 20K again, or do you think it never will? And he said, probably should happen within the next 3 years. Why should we care what Charlie Lee says? Well, he's the guy that pretty much sold all his Litecoin at the top, so he might know a thing or two. You could definitely check that out, guys, moving forward. But that being said, guys, that is it for me today. We are done. I hope you got some value out of this today. Also, I'm still trying to give away that t-shirt from the other day because nobody's claimed it. So we're going to try this one more time. We're going to go back to our video that we had the other day. We're going to go to the random comment generator. Hopefully someone is going to claim this t-shirt, guys, because I'm really tired. It's actually starting to become an on-running joke on this channel now, like the mysterious t-shirt that no one will ever claim. So, here's a chance. Let's see. I was so excited about the t-shirt, I forgot to say awesome video. I've already forwarded video to a friend and told him to watch starting at 22:02 because that's how we take over the world without firing a shot. I can't remember what I said at that point in the video, but thank you so much, CB Creative. I really hope you're watching this video today because you just won the t-shirt. Please head on over. Wait, where are we going? Head on over here, hit me in the About Me, and you will get that shirt. Also, guys, I gotta say, once again, obviously, with all of this craziness going on with exchanges, please secure your cryptos in a hardware wallet or somewhere where you have your private keys. Obviously, you can pre-order the Ledger Nano X, Ledger Nano S, guys. I do have affiliate links below. They do help the channel. If you use them, I appreciate the support, especially even if you just appreciated this video, but I don't expect anything of you guys. And also, I just want to let you know that the blockchain brief has come out for February. As you guys know, this is a magazine that I write for. It's a crypto magazine. It's really it's very friendly for beginners. In fact, if you have like a friend or a family member that's considering getting into crypto, this is like beginner 101 type stuff, okay? And yeah, we just have a good time. See, this is my article, Real World Use Cases on Blockchain, ICOs versus SCOs, and stuff like that. So if you guys are interested, you can head on over to the blockchain brief. It's $5 a month. If that breaks the bank, I don't know. It is what it is, guys. So that being said, just want to let you guys know that that magazine did come out, and that's it for me today, guys. I really hope you enjoyed the content today. I know this was a very long video. There was a lot of stuff I wanted to cover, and I think that this is something we need to consider. Something like this could potentially not only hurt the people that are involved, it could hurt the crypto space. If we find out that this is somehow tied into Tether, it could be the news that we really don't need right now, given this terrible bear market that we've had already. I want you guys to be safe out there. Please try to hold your coins in the safest possible wallets as possible where you own your private keys. And yeah, let me know what you think about this. Let me know. What is your opinion on all this information that's been presented? For all we know, we can come out tomorrow and find out the guy is totally legit and everything's fine, and this is all just a bunch of rumors and speculation, which it could be. And that's the reason that I want you guys to never take anything that you ever read or see or hear on any Facebook or YouTube or Twitter or Medium or anywhere or in the news for face value. Always do your own research. Always understand that people have motives, and you never know where this news is coming from, and you never really know if the news is even trustworthy anyway. And this is coming from a guy who covers it every day, okay? Always do your own research. Always be safe. If you haven't got subscribed to the channel, definitely do that, guys. I do videos every single day, with the exception of Super Bowl Sunday. And that being said, I freaking love you guys. Thank you for everyone that's been liking, subscribing, and commenting. You rule. It's Monday, back on the grind. Looking forward to seeing you guys tomorrow. And that's it for me. My name is K-Dub. This is Crypto Zombie. Until next time, stay crypto and peace out.